before children even show the symptoms of it. He already wants to put them on that from the moment that they come out of the womb.
There's already drugging of children in utero if they, quote, come from poor families in Oregon, which is eugenics.
Right, exactly. This goes back to Maury Stokes, right back to the whole Fabian situation, and back to the...
and what it is these are really murderous, bloodthirsty control freaks who just have disdain and arrogance for everyone. And I've actually talked to some of these top scientists and elitists from these big families. They're almost mentally retarded in a way. They're gibbering, they're goblin-like, and they're not even that smart. They're just vicious little demons.
Well, the more empty you are, remember it's like Wilhelm Reich's Little Man, the more little you are, the more fearful you are, the more that you need to exercise these controls. That is the Wizard of Oz shadow situation. And people need to wake up, turn on the lights, and not be afraid of that type of thing. It ties into the awakening that you spoke of, in the previous segment here. And that is happening. It needs to continue to happen. And as I say, I'm very adamant of people, do not territorialize this knowledge. First of all, this is an alternative subject that we deal with. It is not mainstream. It is not fundamentalistic. You're not going to territorialize it. It does not belong to you. It is knowledge, and you cannot bring the same old world, paradigms of own and control into this area. You don't belong. Go and study. Go back to school, and go back into the Orthodox world is my message to those people.
Yeah, I've noticed people always try to. Information. I notice people always in our own, quote, awakening movement, reality movement, whatever you want to call it. They always try to territorialize it about who said when 9/11 was going to happen first, or who discovered this, or who discovered that. And me, I'm always happy to have folks on, give them credit, but I do that almost neurotically just to please those that are keeping score on who came up with this or who thought of this first. I mean, I have trailblazed thousands of things, coined terms, but it means nothing to me. I'm hoping people use it. I'm hoping people expand on my knowledge as I expanded on others, stand on my shoulders as I stood on others. But you're right. There's this obsession with territorializing, and I've done the opposite. I've said, make copies of my films. Do whatever you want. Use my material. Don't even give me credit. Because it's about survival. But again, people can wake up to the New World Order, but they haven't woken up to all the conditioning they were already under, and so they've got to break that as well.
Well, they're walking towards, see, the word utopia, if you actually look up the meaning of the word utopia as it was first meant to mean, it actually means no place. And this, of course, then opened up, this would not have been understood when Francis Bacon, coined the term or used it. It certainly makes a lot of sense now because we have virtual kingdoms. We have cyber, purgatories awaiting for us. We have these virtual reality states in which man, so divorced from his own center, so much divorced from his own spirit, not only divorced, but running headlong away in the opposite direction from his spirit. What do you think is waiting there for him? These, these individuals are wanting to create a perfect social global village in which you can upload your own consciousness. So the internet is, one aspect of this. It's not negative, but it's an extension of the cerebral spinal system, as many scholars have shown.
The point is the way they're engineering the technocracy is to dominate and subjugate and dumb down. So we're not demonizing technology one way or the other, but the architecture of it has been designed for bad. There is no doubting that, and we're being inserted into the false reality when our whole development is about this plane of existence, and we need to maintain that. We can certainly expand, but we need to maintain and expand our core, not give up our core of who we are to, quote, expand into something else, because that will destroy who we really are.
Right, and we often, because again of the misuse of terms, because of the media's complicity in all of this, we often think of technology as being nothing to do with spirituality. In fact, spirit and technology are two words for the same thing. If you go back in history and you'll notice the emphasis of technology when it's used to right, to build pyramids, to feed the poor, you see, to irrigate great rivers. I mean, technology was in the hands of the most spiritual people in the past. It's been sequestered, it's been repackaged, it's been sort of territorialized and owned by those who are the darkest of powers. It doesn't belong to them. The great samurai, the people who could make the great swords in the past, the great horsemen, or the great, whatever, the musicians, the musicology, the creators of instruments, all of this is technology, isn't it? So technology surrounds us as part of who we are. But it also has a spiritual component. It needs to be back in the hands of the people who are spiritual, not in the hands of these demonic people who are using it to, destroy the humanity.
That's right. We are a species who envisions and then creates. We are a just magical species compared compared to everything else on this planet. As neat as dolphins are, they've got nothing on Homo sapiens sapien, and the enemy has to blunt and dumb down that creativity and get us focused off into issues of no significance or brute, bestial, lower level, making that, through the mammalian image, through the peer pressure to be that lower man instead of that higher man. And they claim that they are building a world for a higher man when the entire architecture is to destroy what man is and feed us into a technocratic meat grinder.
You got it. On the Michael Tsarion website, people will see an article there called Weapons of Mass Destruction Found, and it addresses this whole concept between the magic and the sorcery. I refer to what they're doing as sorcery, black sorcery. Basically, these people are possessed by a kind of archon, a demonic force that they serve, or you can look at it the other way, that they have basically uploaded their own consciousness into that place of fear, envy, endless greed, endless darkness. It doesn't matter which way you look at it. Either something's possessed them or they have uploaded their consciousness. What they've done is they've murdered their own spirit psychologically, and then by doing that, you allow this dark sorcery to enter into you. Well, you can look at it either way, but the sum result is the infected, the person who is that infected by that spiritual virus, cannot sit still. This is what the people of America and the world need to understand. That kind of infected person cannot sit still unless they go around and try to infect everybody else. The thing makes sense when you look at it from a psychological point of view.
Faith without works is dead, and that goes for the dark side and the light side. I mean, people are going to manifest and build what their core is. And then notice the occultists at the higher levels want to make everybody low-level atheist and not believe any of that, so that blinds us. But at the top, the real top atheistic people are wild satanic Luciferians. We're going to skip this break, too. Behind the scenes.
Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
I take myself as a microcosm of a journey of awakening. Some people misinterpret what I'm doing as fear. No, fear would put people in their box in a catatonic state in a fetal position, not moving forward. Why has Alex Jones, for all my foibles and problems, why have I been the most effective? And I think that's universally pretty much accepted even by my detractors on all fronts. Is the most effective at waking people up. Well, it's because I reached out to the people of the United States and the world and taught them and showed them how much power they had and how much they could do to wake up others. And that's why it's you, the listeners, and the visitors of Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. So you judge a tree by its fruits. We have really resisted the New World Order, had a lot of victories against it, woken up a lot of people, and it's because I have passion, and I am aggressive, and I am angry, and I shake people out of the mesmerized position they're in with the TV and the culture to then just kind of like a cold bucket of water, ice water, wake them up and shake them out of that. And Michael Tsarion, David Icke, many others have also been very, very successful at doing this. So what are your ideas of how to fight this technocracy? I mean, I want people to see how dangerous it is and know what a great threat it is, so they will move out of the way of the threat and then over it and on top of it, and to denature it. I mean, what are your ideas of how this revolution of human consciousness, how this is going to play out, and what are your ideas in the solution?
Well, see, whatever you want to call it, God, nature has already given us the tools. It's called the human reason. It's called the human curiosity. This has built the greatest bridges. It has, created the shuttle. It has built the greatest nations on earth. It's built pyramids. We already have the hardware within us installed. But what has happened is we've been conditioned to not use it, to doubt our own sensibilities, to doubt our own bodies, to doubt that we have control over our own lives and our own families and our own communities. And this has been this insipid drip feeding, you see, of the lie. I mean, I can back up and talk about what you just said there about being angry. And first of all, I do not have a degree in psychology, but I have studied the subject thoroughly, and I can tell you that you, Alex, are neither mad nor paranoid, and that you are a person who's got the guts to stand up and be as mad as hell, who can channel their anger positively, and this is what is needed. Maybe go back to the movie Network. You got to be as mad as hell. You got to fall in love with the word no. You got to ask questions, and you got to do it with anyone else comes to help you do it or not.